In this unit, we will create a much more interactive top-down prototype where the player has to throw food to hungry animals.
Boring!
So what we're gonna do is a pear that shoots humans!
Wait a minute!
So I downloaded this asset, opened Unity, create a new 3D project, named it Love the Animals, imported the assets from Package Manager into our Unity editor, and now we have our scene. So in our scene, we're gonna add whatever animals you like. I'm gonna add a dog, 3 dogs to be exact, and now we have our good boys. Time to add our player, our Pear. You heard that right, a pear as a player. Scale our pear to the right size, and now we have a good looking pear as our player. And oh boy, that pear is looking thick. Now to add our projectile, which is the human farmer. The farmer is standing upright, and we want him to look like he is flying, so we'll rotate him till we get what we want, and now we got our projectile. Our pear is kind of camouflaging with the ground. Let's change the material of the ground to this, or this, or this, or this. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this. To make our pear move, we are going to Visual Studio and type in our code. And voila, we got our code. Now let's test if our pear is actually moving with our code. And yeah, it's actually moving pretty well.
Nice!
We want our farmer to fly forward like a projectile. So let's add our code. And now it's flying. Now let's add code to make our doggos move. And now let's test if our doggos are moving. And our doggos are moving! Now let's adjust speed of each dog. Smaller dog with slower speed and bigger dog with faster speed. Now that we've edited it, let's test it out. And as you can see, they're now moving at different speeds. Awesome! Now we are just going to add our dogs and projectiles as prefabs, so we can use and spawn them repeatedly. It's time to make our farmers fly and be used as projectile with the hit of a space button. After adding some codes, we will attach our farmer to our pear. And let's test it out. Now we have flying farmers as projectile. After more coding, we can now add each of our dogs in our spawn manager, which essentially randomizes the dogs that are spawned. Now, let's test it out. Now we have our dogs spawning randomly.
Yeah, boy!
To make our dogs and farmer collide, we are going to add box colliders to them. But since the box colliders are too big, we are going to manually adjust it to fit our dogs and farmer. Let's watch the process. We are now going to add the algorithm for collision detection, so we code and even do more code, and we smash our keyboard, and lo and behold, we got a code. Now that we're done with the code, let's test our game. So if we press praise, the farmer comes out, and if we hit the dog disappears. The dog disappears?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
When we play our game, you can see that the dogs endlessly walks and do not disappear. The same goes as well for the farmers we create with spacebar. So now we're going to fix that with code, and somehow magically appears whenever we smash our keyboard. You can see that the dogs now disappear after a certain point, and the same goes as well for our farmers. I don't want to see my dog to disappear. What I want to happen is when they collide, they love each other and produces hearts.
Nice.
Anyway, it's time to create the heart particle. So I went to Asset Store, searched for heart particles, filter by free, and downloaded the first effect that is free. I then imported the particles in my Unity editor and waited for it to load. Created the particle, added the render material from the effects we downloaded, set the shader to alpha, changed the color of the heart to a gradient of pink to red, added alpha values on the start and end of the particle, and adjusted some other values. And now to add the particles to our game, of course, we're going to do it with some code. More code, some keyboard smashing, another lines of code, even more code, and a whole lot of keyboard smashing. And now, our game is complete. So when we hit the dogs with the farmers, they love each other and is now then replaced with hearts. So if you want to play the game, you can play it on your browser. I'll be putting it on the links below. And if you like the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe and follow me on twitch.tv/Cesner. I'm streaming there daily and I hope to see you in my future videos. See ya!